What's up everybody, my name is Brendan and this is BigBearB Creative. Welcome back to the Sunday's video, and as I said on Friday, we're going to be doing a nice photo editing video today. It's going to go along with Friday's video all about the shutter speed rule and kind of things that you need to do in processing depending on that kind of thing. Or not depending on that kind of thing, depending on that shutter speed rule, mainly being if you have to take a photo to meet that shutter speed rule that ends up being a little too dark that you don't really see much, but there's a way to save it when you go over to the editing room. So I'm going to show you how you can edit your photo to really bring back a lot of what is in the photograph, so that way it's saved basically. You can actually use that photograph. There's a couple little drawbacks with this. You know, it would be great if we can control all sorts of light scenarios and everything like that, but sometimes we can't do that in the field. We just really want to show off this picture that we took, but sometimes we just gotta kind of pick and choose our battles here. So we're gonna jump on over to my computer and I'm gonna show you how you can edit this. Alright, so now that we're over to my computer, I'm going to use this image of this deer that I took at Beaver's Lake in Arkansas to kind of show you how, if you're following that shutter speed rule that we were talking about earlier in this video and on Friday's video, that it just ended up being a darker photo just because you had to follow that. But I want to show you how you could actually restore that photo, even though things are in shadow, and you could tell by up here in the histogram that everything's over to the left, which means everything's in shadow. But it's actually much easier to recover things than if they're in highlight, because highlight actually tends to lose information rather than shadow does. So we're going to get started with this, and the main thing we're going to start off with is just raising the exposure. And already you can see that basically it looks like a photo that you just took normally without having to have that shutter speed be so quick that you're not bringing in enough light. But of course, with doing that, you are brightening the image a lot, so you're going to have some pixelation. As you can see, there's a lot of noise going on, but there's a couple things we can do to fix that, as you'll see when we go through the rest of this. Like I do in all my photographs, I'm just going to add a little bit of contrast, which is actually also going to help separate the deer a little bit. Because of the shadows, there isn't as much separation because you don't have that light that you're bringing in. So using the contrast is going to help us create a little bit of that separation. I'm actually going to darken the highlights. It didn't really affect much, but I did like what it did do. And I'll just raise the shadows just a little bit. I'll raise the whites a little bit as well. But I'm going to lower the darks a little bit again, just so I could try to bring a little bit more balance out to that into the photograph. That's a little bit too much clarity. Clarity is one of those sliders you do want to stick to the low end. And then, since I said earlier we do have a lot of noise, I'm just going to see what we get boosting the denoise sliders all the way up for both of them and including the boost, just to see how much that helps or if it really does anything. And I'll just flick back and forth with the eye icon on and with it off, just so I could see what it is with the slider on versus what it was basically without the slider in. Kind of like it with it on. I'm just gonna maybe lower the boost a little bit to like 75. Give the photo a little bit more color here. Now, since we already boosted the exposure by basically almost 2 stops, I don't really think I'm going to do too much with the accent AI filter, because that's going to really raise the lightness as well, which is going to bring back a little bit of that noise that we tried to get rid of, but I'll bring it up just a little bit. I'm actually curious of what it thinks the sky is, because normally it's pretty well. Normally the AI sky enhancer does a really good job of finding a photo that doesn't have an actual sky in it, but apparently it thinks that the leaves are skies in this one, so I'm gonna add a little bit of it. And use a little bit of dehaze, and there has to be one stumble in these videos, right? So I do like using the advanced contrast because it really helps kind of pick what the contrast you want, because every photo needs a little bit of contrast, but sometimes you don't want all the kinds of contrast that a photo does have. So using the advanced contrast really helps you kind of pick and choose. I'm going to have just a little bit of the shadow ones, but I'm not going to have the amount be as high. And again, if we're clicking that little eye icon, you can kind of tell a little bit of the color differentiation that just having these sliders on really does. Let's see. Kind of want to maybe see if we could get rid of a little bit of the yellow. Just because there is a lot of yellow, I don't know if I want it as much. Or the orange a little bit too. I want a little pop of green in the background there. Let's see what that did. Yeah, I think the color looks a little bit more natural now. And then because of also that pixelation that we're getting, or the noise it's creating, if you just take the structure slider and lower it just a little bit, basically what that's going to do is kind of give the photo more of a painted kind of feel. It'll look more like a painting, which for certain applications, like if you're just posting these kind of photos like Instagram or Facebook, something like that, is going to look really good. Versus if you're trying to use it as a photo print, it's not going to look as good. This I'm not going to sell as a photo print, but we'll talk more about my photo prints at the end of this. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of a vignette, but I don't want it to be as, like, I don't really want you to see the vignette circle inside the photograph, so I'm going to kind of make it a little bit bigger just so it's more or less clipping around the edges. And then I'm going to add a little bit of an inner light, because as we could see here when we click on the eye icon, it really does make a big difference in this photograph. We're not going to mess with the detail enhancers just because of that pixelation that's already there. Although you can't, if you're using this program, you can mess with it a little bit. I just don't feel like it's going to be very necessary here. And I like the eye, a little blue in the eye just popping a little bit more. And then maybe lower that top a little bit just to create a little bit of depth. So as we can see, if you're looking up here, if we click off, it kind of lightens that area back up, but with have it a little bit darker, it kind of creates a little bit more of that depth that we're looking for. The subject of the deer is much closer in the background, a little bit further away. Yeah. So that's basically all the sliders that I'm going to do to this. Now there's a bunch more on this program that you can use to kind of just mess with the style of the look. But the main purpose of this was to really show that you could bring back a photograph that you had to have be a certain shutter speed or something that made it be too dark, just so that way you can make sure it was sharp. Because as you can tell here, it's sharp, it's completely in focus. There isn't any sort of motion blur. And that's because if we go over to info, you'll see that it was shot at 155 millimeters, which that's my focal length, but my shutter speed was 1/200th. So that way, even with my crop sensor that I have, basically that is the lowest I could go. And as you can see, it's still made for a sharp photograph. If you watch Friday's video, you'll understand a little bit what I'm talking about there. If you didn't watch Friday's video, make sure you go check it out to actually learn a little bit about this rule, or remind yourself about the shutter speed rule, so that way you can make sure you're taking perfectly sharp photographs that even if they're dark like this one originally was, as we can see here, you still end up with a nice photograph. So now that this is all done, I'm going to show you this photograph again, and then we're going to jump back over to me over there. Well, there you have it. It's a really big difference when you see the before and then you see the after, of how much you're actually really able to bring back from a photo that really, when you look at it in your camera, just looks too dark to even use. But there's actually a lot saved there, at least if you're shooting in RAW, which is why you should always shoot in RAW. So I hope you learned something about in this video, and if you did, let me know down in the comment section below. Really, it just goes a long way in helping me know that I'm communicating things well, or if you guys need things explained a little bit more, you can also tell me down there too. I'd love to either just direct talk to you down there. You could also go over to my social medias and message me there, and I would love to talk all about photography and anything like that. So I'll link they're always linked. My social medias are down below, and also will display them for you here, so you go ahead and check those out. And also, while you're down in the description, go ahead and check out the links that go to my merch page and Teespring. Those are going to be for my apparel that you can buy. There's t-shirts, long sleeves, hoodies, tote bags. I also have stickers for the designs, and we're going to have a couple designs very soon that I've drawn them all in my little journal. Now I just actually have to go onto the computer and make those, and those will be a video coming soon. So make sure you're also subscribed to this channel, so that way you can catch all of those videos about the merch that I'm going to be creating for you guys, and also just more future photography, maybe a little bit of videography content as well, and really just a bunch of just fun that we have for the most part, all of which is nature based, because I really love nature, and that's kind of the way I want to take this channel, is more towards nature based photography, landscape, maybe some wildlife and all that kind of stuff. So if you guys really want to see that kind of stuff, make sure you're also hitting that like button. Just really let me know that you guys are liking this and that you're liking the way this channel's going, along with hitting subscribe as well. So yeah, let me know what you learned, if there's anything you need more explained. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you're subscribing, check out my apparel, like I said, on the merch page in Teespring. Also check out my photo prints. Those are also going to be on my merch page, as well as Zazzle. And with those, basically you're just going to find one of the photos that I have available. You'll click, it'll take you over to, if you're on my merch page, it'll take you over to Zazzle, because that's where I sell them through. If you're already on Zazzle, you're good to go. You can just basically choose the size that you want, the paper quality, if you want it framed, anything like that. And then they'll get that sent to you, and you can hang it up in your home office or anything like that. And if you guys are getting my merch or my photo prints, whenever it does arrive, take a picture, put it on your social media, tag me in it, or you just send it directly to me. I love to see all that kind of stuff too. Stumbling here, but I just want to see that you guys are enjoying it, and if you are enjoying it, I just want to see it, and I hope you are enjoying it if you guys are getting these things. So thank you for watching this video. Before I stumble too much on, thank you for watching this video. Hope you guys have a great day. Be safe and go be creative.